What are the 3 things he tried to do to free himself?
At first, he tried to move the rock and break the rock with his knife, and then with a rope, he tried to pull the rock away.
Yeah, he tried to leverage it somehow with a rope. Little Mimi Milo. How are you today?
I feel a bit tired and headache.
You often feel tired with a bit of a headache. That seems like every 2 weeks. What are you doing?
Like that because I usually stay up late. So sometimes I get headache.
So why do you stay up late?
I stay up late for studying.
Wow, why don't you go to bed early and wake up early to study?
Because in the morning it's so noisy for me.
I have a similar problem. I find, especially when I'm doing editing for the videos, or if I have to make a new program or something, I find I work more productively after 9 p.m. because that's when everybody goes home and all the classes are gone and nobody's texting me and nobody's asking me questions, and I can get right into my work with no distractions. And I find I get more done. But because in the morning there's always something going on, always distractions. But I do know that studies have showed that we are more productive in the morning than we are late at night, because at night our body's shutting down. It's harder to study and you're not as productive. So it's really a balance. But if you're very distracted in the morning, yeah, I agree. Sometimes we have to do our work in the evening in the quiet. That is true. Forgot about our test, huh?
No, I don't remember my test time.
Yeah, I forgot.
But I remember the test.
You remember the test, but you just
prepared it.
And you prepared it. Well, that makes me happy. But you just didn't. What time did you think the test was at? When did you think we were doing the test?
It's about 6 p.m.
Oh, you thought it was later. Okay. No worries. No worries. Did you do your midterms? You had midterms last week, yeah?
I have
Quarterlies.
midterm last month.
Oh, was it last month? Because some of the students said they had tests last week, quarterlies or something. Midterm of a midterm. All right. Okay, you remember then what we're going to read about? We're going to read about Mr. Aaron Ralston.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you remember about Aaron Ralston? Why are they writing about him? They made a movie about him too. I watched it. It's a really good movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's called 126 Hours or 124 Hours. Franco something is the actor that played him. What do you remember about Aaron Ralston? What happened to him?
Aaron is an experienced climber, and he was went to Blue John Canyon in Utah in April 2003.
Yeah. What happened to him?
He lost his arm. Lose his arm.
A bear bite it off?
No, because there was a rock fall down to his arm, so he had to cut his arm.
Ouch.
It's a painful way.
Oof, I guess. I hope I don't ever have to do that. And put me to sleep and somebody else do it. I don't want to do it. Okay, so you remember. That's good. So we're going to read through it. Like always, we're still in the first 10 interest lessons. Mm-hmm. So until we get to 11, then we'll start doing more speaking. But here we're going to do reading and comprehension. So lose your arm or lose your life. When you are ready to start, start.
Okay. Lose your arm or lose your life. In April 2003, Aaron Ralston went to
Aaron Ralston.
Aaron Ralston went to Blue Yawn Canyon in Utah to hike. Although he was on his own, he was an experienced climber. So he wasn't worried.
Climber, yeah. He wasn't worried. Okay. Sorry.
But he made two big mistakes. He didn't have a mobile phone with him, and he didn't tell anybody where he was. Aaron climbed down a narrow gap between the walls of the canyon. Suddenly, a large rock fell on his right arm. It trapped his arm against the canyon wall. He tried to pull his arm out, but the rock weighed 360 kilograms, but it was impossible. Onion realized that he was in trouble. He couldn't phone a friend or his parents, and nobody knew he was there. He didn't have much food or water with him. First of all, he tried to move the rock. Then he tried to break the rock with his knife. He had a rope and he tried to pull the rock away. Nothing would. Meanwhile, Aaron slowly drank his water and ate his food. He had a video camera with him, and he videoed himself every day. He recorded messages to his parents and his friends. After 5 days, Aaron had no more water, and he felt very weak and ill. He couldn't feel his hand. He had to make a decision. He could die, or he could cut off his own arm off. He broke the bone in his arm, then he tied the cloth around his arm and started cutting with his knife. It took him an hour, he said afterwards. It was 100 times worse than any pain I felt before. Finally, he was free, but he was still 12 kilometers from his car. He had to go down the canyon wall on a rope, using just one arm. Then he had to walk through the canyon in the hot sun. Eventually, he met some other hikers, and a helicopter came to rescue him. Nowadays, Aaron gives talks about his experience, and recently he has written a book about it. He has an artificial arm, and he still loves hiking, and he hasn't given up climbing. He lost his arm, but he's still alive.
He has an artificial shoulder. Yeah, just like AI, artificial intelligence. You can see in the picture, he has an artificial arm. Yeah, no, it's really good. Just a couple of little things. Pull, not pulled. And of course, Aaron. I know it looks like Aaron, but it's pronounced Aaron. Climbed. Yeah, no, it's really good. Your reading has always been good. Okay. So let's take a look at some of the questions here. Tell me, what do you think? Would you go hiking in the canyons by yourself?
I think I won't go hiking by my own self because it's dangerous, and I not have mobile phone.
You don't have a mobile phone?
Yeah.
Oh. What about if the whole class went hiking? Me and Miss Lay and you and Alien and Jason and Lily and everybody. Would you go?
It's better for me.
Yeah, it would be better for everybody. It would be much safer. That's true. So if that's safe, what were the big mistakes that Aaron did? What were his big mistakes?
He didn't have a mobile phone and he didn't tell anybody where he was.
Yeah, exactly. Even if you didn't have a phone, at least if you're going to go alone, make sure people know where you're going. Because he was 12 kilometers away from his car. So even if they found his car, can you imagine? Well, which way? That way, that way, that way, that way. Where did he go?
Yeah,
No
it's
one.
very hard.
It'd be really hard to find him. And the canyon you can see in the pictures, it's really big.
Yeah, and huge. And
Huge. Yeah, really huge. I'm guessing it's part of the northern part of the Grand Canyon, but I've never been hiking in those canyons, so I don't know. But yeah, but at least if he knew where he was, all of a sudden it's nighttime and where's Aaron? He hasn't come back yet. Usually he comes back when the sun comes down. What's going on? And does anybody know where he went? Oh yeah, he went to the Blue Canyon, Blue John. What is it? Blue John?
Blue John Canyon.
Blue John
In Utah.
Canyon in Utah. Yeah, Utah. Where's Utah?
OMG.
Where is Utah? Do you think that's in Africa?
I think it's not a.
Russia? Australia? China?
It's in Australia or what?
It's a state in the US, one of the United States. Yeah, it's in the western area, western central area. Yeah. So yeah, I said, no, he went to Blue John Canyon. Oh, okay. Well, then they would know where to look for him. So if he had have done that, he may not have lost his arm. Maybe. But we don't know. That's what they call a hypothetical situation, meaning what if we did this, but we really don't know because it can't happen now. And I don't think he's going to go and trap the left arm to test the theory to see if they can find him.
Research.
Yeah,
And
I can't.
nobody wants it happen.
Well, that's terrible. To have to break your own arm and then cut your own arm off. Oh my God, what a nightmare. That's scary. All right. He went to Blue John Canyon. Okay. Yeah, so they said he had to climb down something before the rock fell on him. What did he climb down?
He climbed down a narrow gap between the walls of the canyon.
Yeah, so kind of like a big crack. Yeah, and he climbed down between the walls. Yeah, in the movie, that's what it was like. I wonder if they filmed it where it actually happened to be realistic. Because in the movie, he's between two walls. And when it was raining, he was hoping the water would fall in to give him more water, but there wasn't much rain. And then he was stuck with that big rock. Yeah. Between a gap, a space between rocks. Yeah. So in his story, he said he tried to move the rock. He tried to free himself. What are the three things he tried to do to free himself?
At first, he tried to move the rock and break the rock with his knife, and then with a rope, he tried to pull the rock away.
Yeah, he tried to leverage it somehow with a rope. I can't remember how he did that in the movie, but he tried to. But why couldn't he move the rock? He's a grown man.
Just because the rock weighed 360 kilograms. It's
That's
really
heavy.
big.
Yeah, 360 kilograms. That's heavy. That's really heavy. Yeah, that's really heavy. The other reason is, I'm guessing because as the walls came down, the rock probably got wedged, stuck between the walls with his arm caught inside. So not only was it 360 kilograms, but even if it wasn't that heavy, it would probably still be hard to move because it's slammed in between two rocks. So it's like stuck. Yeah, that would have been really, really hard. It would have been, they called it wedged in. Yeah. So how much food and water did he have?
I don't know how much food he had, but it just not too much. It's not too much.
Yeah. He didn't bring much with him. That's why he had to drink his water slowly and eat his food slowly, because he didn't bring much with him. I'm sure he wasn't planning to stay there for the night. He was probably just hiking for the day. Do you think maybe he could have ordered a pizza?
How can we order a pizza when we don't have mobile phone?
Good point. That's true. Clever. Let's see. What else do we got here? I'd like to order a pizza right now. All right. So he tied a cloth around his arm. Why did he do that? It doesn't say why, but I'm wondering if you know why. Why would someone tie a cloth really tight around one's arm? Why would someone do that? What's the reason for that? To look cool?
Not to look cool. I think he do that because
right after
he cut off his arm.
All right, so
and
think.
Then I think he tied the clothes around his arm because too blood soaked.
To block?
Blood soaked.
Blood. It's to block the blood. You froze a little bit there, so I don't. Maybe you missed some of the words I said. Because if you have a really bad wound, a really bad cut, or maybe you have what they call a compound fracture, like the bone breaks out of your skin. But if you're bleeding a lot and you have to stop the bleeding, one way to save yourself not bleeding to death is you have to tie cloth around your arm really, 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 really tight. It hurts really tight because then it closes the veins and the arteries. So you're not going to bleed the blood. So that's one way of saving your life, because if he did, when he cut his arm off, that would have been another big problem. He would have never been saved, because by the time he climbed back down out of the canyons and into the valley trying to get help, by that time, his heart would have been pumping so hard, he would have pumped all the blood out of his body and he would have died anyway. So he had to stop the bleeding. And that's why he could survive. And that's why they could rescue him and bring him to the hospital. And he's alive today. So you have to block the blood off. Very, very important. That's why. I think that's what you were trying to say, but I couldn't understand the word. It's okay. Let's see. What else do we got here? Yeah, we know he cut off his arm. Okay, so kind of strange. He climbed down a narrow gap and he got stuck with a rock. And then they said when he got in the story, it says he climbed back down a canyon wall. So I'm guessing he climbed up a canyon wall, and on the other side, there was a gap, and then he climbed down again, and then he climbed up and down again, back into a valley, is my guess. So from the time he climbed down with one arm, the canyon wall, how did he get rescued? How was he rescued?
He had to go down the canyon on a rope using just one arm, and luckily he met some other hikers, and a helicopter came to rescue him.
Yeah. But how did the helicopter know he was there?
I don't know.
He didn't have a phone.
I think it's just a random happen.
No. Think. Critical thinking now.
I think then I think because the other hikers call to the rescue.
Yeah, probably the park rangers or something. Yeah, so the rescue could happen. They would come with a helicopter to take him to the hospital immediately. Exactly. He didn't have a phone, but the other hikers were probably smarter and they brought their hand phones with them, their mobile phones. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Did he write a book about his experience?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, why not? Make some money. Like I said, they made a movie about it. So I'm sure he's made money from this for sure. The helicopter rescued him. That's right. So my last question for you today is, if you could have any adventure in the world, you could go deep sea diving with sharks, or you could go on a cruise around the world, or you could go traveling through Africa on a safari to see all the wild animals, or you could go backpacking through Europe to see all the castles, or a rainforest and the Brazilian Amazon forest or something. What kind of a adventure would you like to have or take?
I think I want to have a safe, fun adventure with my friend.
Well, yeah, but what would it be? Of course, it has to be safe and with your friends. But what would the adventure be? What would you like to do or see? Would you like to go hiking through the canyons?
I think I want to explore. I think I will explore a forest.
So what forest? The jungles of Vietnam, or see the gorillas with Lily in the Congo rainforest in Africa, or the Amazon jungle? Which one would you like?
Amazon jungle.
The Amazon jungle. Yeah, that's probably the most dangerous too. But if you're with the right people, it would be okay. A lot of mosquitoes. A lot of mosquitoes. All right. We're almost fit. No, it's not mosquitoes. It's mosquito season starting. That's right. Because it's getting warm now. All right. You did good. You did good. So we're going to go to interest 10. Good job. Have yourself a nice Sunday afternoon, evening almost now. It is evening at 6:00. And I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye.